Yo, what up, what up, what up? Man, listen, there's actually like some news that's like right up my fucking alley and shit. Like it's some shit that I'm actually involved with. So I figured maybe I'll report on it, right? So the Biden administration decided to try to address some of the problems inside of the trucking industry to like try to like fix some of these like bottlenecks, you know what I mean, in our like our infrastructure that's fucking up during our whole transportation system and shit, like most of our shipping industry. So they sat here and they released this fact sheet, right, for fucking the Biden-Harris administration trucking action plan to strengthen America's trucking workforce, right? Let's look at this, right? Because like I'll be honest with you, like fucking this is retarded, like 100%. This addresses none of the problems in the trucking industry at all. It addresses not a one of the issues. Okay, it literally is going like, oh, how do we get more drivers, right? And you go, are you addressing any of the problems that drivers face at all? Or are you just gonna like stand here and go, man, listen, I think the problem is the fact that people can't get fucking CDLs. So I'm like, I feel like that's not the issue, right? Legitimately, it's not the issue, like 100%. So let's look at this, okay? So, fact sheet: the Biden-Harris administration trucking action plan to strengthen America's trucking workforce. Trucking plays a critical role in the U.S. supply chain and economy, right? America's truck drivers have been on the front lines of this pandemic, delivering goods to every corner of this country. 72% of goods in America are shipped by truck, and in most communities, trucks are the only form of delivery. A strong, stable, and safe trucking workforce that offers good-paying jobs to millions of truck drivers is a critical lifeblood of our economy. But outdated infrastructure, the COVID-19 pandemic, and a historic volume of goods moving through our economy has drained capacity across the supply chain, including in trucking. The pandemic exacerbated long-standing workforce challenges in the trucking industry, including high turnover rates, an aging workforce, long hours away from home, and time spent waiting, often unpaid, to load and unload congested ports, warehouses, and distribution centers. According to one estimate, long-haul truckload drivers only spend an average of 6.5 hours per working day driving, despite being allowed to drive a maximum of 11 hours. That means about 40% of their capacity is not being used. All right, look, okay, so let's address that at the second, right? Because this is important, right? Okay, so when it comes down to driving as a whole, okay, for the most part, nobody wants to drive 11 hours a fucking day, all right? Like, driving is extremely taxing, all right, on your mental, on your physical. It's sitting behind the wheel, right, for like 11 hours a fucking day is like 6 days a week is something that you just don't want to do, right? As a whole, you just don't want to fucking do it, right? And now when you start talking about, you know, like how much, like, you know what I mean, like you're actually making and shit when you're on the road, like part of the problem is number one, so if you drive somewhere, right, and like you have an appointment, these appointments are hard appointments, right? It's not like it's a fucking joke, right? And how long it takes you to get there is like how long it takes you to get there. Like if you show up early, you're going to sit there all night long and wait, right? And then like fucking you're going to get unloaded in the morning. It might take 2 hours, it might take 4 hours, whatever. But like you're not going to be on duty when you're fucking getting unloaded. You're just going to be hanging the fuck out, right? You're going to be off duty, you're going to be fucking chilling. It's not going to run against your clock. And basically what you do is once you get unloaded and shit, you have this problem of where you have to be at a truck stop by like 5 or 6 o'clock every day, right? If you run in the daytime, because if you're not going to get parking. That's a problem, right? That's something that like maybe should be addressed, right? It's not so much like fucking like, I mean, unpaid time at ports and warehouses, sure, is a major fucking problem for most truckers, and we all bitch about it. Everybody fucking hates that shit, right? And but like one of the largest problems that all truckers have, like you can ask any trucker, is parking, right? Like 100%. Like if you're an over the road truck driver, like I don't have that problem because I'm a local driver, but like when you're over the road, parking fucking sucks. It's a motherfucker trying to find a place to park every goddamn day. Like it's one of the hardest parts of the job in general. And then like during the COVID pandemic, I was on the road. Like fucking restaurants are shut down at fucking night and shit. Like nobody's fucking working. So like you can't even get fucking a warm meal. Like it's fucking miserable, right? It's goddamn terrible, right? But let me keep this a buck. This is not addressed any of the fucking problems, right? And nobody wants their fucking drivers to be driving 11 hours a fucking day. You legitimately, like, no one wants a driver fucking actually doing that shit. Like, because, like, it's just no, right? Like, that's something that you do sometimes. Like, that's a rare occasion that you hit the 11-hour a day fucking mark. Because, like, 11 hours at, like, 70 miles a fucking hour, that's 770 miles a fucking day, right? That's a lot of miles to be putting on that motherfucking, on your goddamn fucking, on your rig and shit. Like, it is what it is. Anyway. At the time, the industry reported that historic demand for its services, reflecting that demand wages for employed drivers in all trucking segments have now increased 7 to 12% in the past year alone. But employment in some segments is still below pre-pandemic levels. Okay, so here's the issue, okay? The trucking industry needs to bump its pay up to like $200,000 a year for each driver. And that's just keeping up with inflation from like the 80s and 90s, right? This is not about, you know what I mean, like, oh, man, we increased it 10% this year. So, like, why isn't more people coming in? Because 10% is not noticeable, all right? It's just not a noticeable thing. It's not, like, when you're taxing the dog shit out of drivers and at the same time, the cost of everything else is going up, right? Like, you had the problem of, like, when you go to a fucking truck stop, it's the most expensive place in the world to eat or get anything or whatever it is, right? It's like $15 for a fucking shower at a truck stop, right? So, like, when you're going in and you're trying to order food and you want to eat, you want to live every fucking day, like, that 10% is just chewed up by inflation every fucking year because they just keep jacking rates of everything, right? And then on top of that, like, if you have a place at home, like, all your fucking bills at the house are going up. You need a new car this year? You know what I'm saying? That shit just jumped up like fucking 60% in a fucking year, right? So, like, understand that 10% doesn't matter. You need to raise the pay like 50%. And I know y'all don't want to do that because it would expose, like, how long you've been bringing immigrant labor into this fucking workforce to drive down the goddamn wages and shit. Like, you don't, like, you, for the past 10 years, 10, 15 years in this industry, what you've done is instead of hiring good drivers and professional drivers and solid drivers, you've been puppy milling like fucking females and goddamn fucking immigrants and fucking convicts through the fucking system, right? And putting them all in automatic trucks, right? So they're not paying attention to what they're doing. They're not good fucking drivers. They're not stable. They're not fucking staying in the industry. Right? Because, like, they get in, they find out how terrible this fucking job is. And they go, fuck that, I want to be at home. Right? Legitimately. Like, no one wants to be a long-haul trucker. It's just not worth doing. Right? In the end of the day. Because even if you're making 100 racks a year, okay? Like, let me put it this way, right? If you're making $2,000 a week, right? Which is, you go, oh, it's a lot of money, man. Listen, like, it's not. Right? Because consider it this way. You're not in your house 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for 2 weeks at a shot. Right? I mean, 10 days, that's 240 fucking hours. Right? Legitimately. So, like, basically, you're breaking this down and then you got to spend 2 34-hour rest periods, like, in that fucking time period, or at least one, right? Where you have to stop driving and just hang out somewhere. Right? And you're stuck in your truck. You're not at home. You're not with your family. You're not, you know what I'm saying, like, doing all the stuff that you want to do. Right? You're not, like, seeing your kids. You're not eating your food. You're not sleeping in your bed. You're not, you know what I mean? You're out on the goddamn road and shit. And you go, oh, man, it's like a bunch of money coming home. But when you break it down per hour on average, like, most truck drivers are making about 14 or 15 bucks an hour. Is that really worth it? In the end of the day. Again, like, this is the fucking problem that they're not looking at. And then on top of that, like, with the goddamn divorce rate, and, you know what I'm saying, child support coming out your ass because, like, 90% of all truckers are fucking divorced. 98% of the industry is goddamn male. There's a reason why that is. Legitimately, because, like, you're never the fuck home. Like, it is what it is. All right, so. Okay, so the administration is fucking taking action. Now we're asking industry, labor, and all levels of government to partner with us to address these trucking workforce challenges and begin building a next-generation trucking workforce. A stronger trucking workforce is one where trucking jobs are good, safe, and stable, right? Jobs that employers can attract a new generation of drivers while retaining existing drivers to deliver for clients, grow their businesses. The nation's trucking workforce also demands clear, debt-free paths into these good jobs. though high quality training such as registered apprenticeships, which prepare trainees and provide employers with a steady pipeline of skilled, safe, and experienced drivers. Apprenticeships are not what you need, right? That's the dumbest shit ever, right? Like, legitimately, like, you don't need apprenticeships. What you need, like, all right, because, like, when you get into the trucking industry, what you do is, like, you go, all right, I want to get my CDL, right? You go online, like, how do I get my CDL? And, like, you'll have, like, two fucking things come up. You'll have AAA school of trucking, and then you'll have, like, fucking 12 different companies, right? And, like, so the trucking companies literally will, like, they will stand here and they send you out, like, these websites or whatever where you go and take, like, practice permit tests and study to, like, get your permit and shit, right? It takes, like, fucking, like, a week, whatever. And then you go and fucking pay the $50 and you go get your permit, right? Take your permit test and shit. And then they'll fucking put you in a hotel once you have your permit and you spend 3 weeks there. They'll tell you all the stuff you need to do to learn, to get your CDL and shit. They'll give you practice, let you show you how to drive a truck. They'll put you in a truck and, like, give you instructors and the whole nine. This is all free to you. You know what I'm saying? Completely free. You're not, you're not like standing here fucking losing money doing this, right? And then, or like they might charge you, you know what I'm saying? But like usually they'll have like, oh, we'll take it out of your paycheck, whatever. It don't fucking matter, right? And then make you leave like 3 months later, tell them to go fuck themselves and never get the money back. Right. That's what I did. Right. So like, you know what I mean? And then like you stand here and you have your fucking CDL and look, you go home, you take your CDL test and then you go out, you'll come back into the company and they'll put you out with a driver for a month. Right. And you'll have a month with a driver on the road. Right. Either you'll be over the road, or you'll be regional, or you'll be a local guy, whatever it is, whatever you're going to be doing on whatever account you're doing it. You'll stand here and learn all the basic ins and outs that you didn't learn in that 3 weeks of like school. Right. And like there's tons of stuff they don't teach you because it's not on the CDL test. Right. Like how to hook up a trailer, like fucking how to stand here and, like actually like drop your fucking bags, how to slide your tandems, how to, go through weigh stations, how to find a place to park. You'll get practice fucking parking and shit. And backing your truck up, fucking how to do your paperwork and stuff. And just all the things that goes with being a fucking trucker on the day-to-day shit that you're not going to be on your fucking CDL test, right? Or you can go to the AAA school of trucking, right? Which, I'll be honest with you, is the garbage way to go. Because, like, when you're in a trucking school for a company, like, it's guaranteed you have a job when you get out. And you know what you're going to be doing, right? And you know what the fucking deal is. And they're paying for you to go, and, like, it's a fucking immediate crash course to get you the fuck out in the goddamn road, right? But like with these AAA school of trucking places, like I personally think they're fucking garbage because like they'll charge you before you get there. You have to pay for it, right? And then on top of that, like fucking, like you're at home going through all these goddamn courses and shit. And it could take anywhere from like, like a month to like 3 months to go through this fucking process. And that's, not fucking pimping and shit when it comes down to it. It's too fucking long. Well, I personally think. You know what I mean? But like legitimately, like we already have all the methods to get the drivers into the fucking trucks. It's just about having enough pay to attract them and building the infrastructure up of like parking, right? For instance, you know what I mean? And like actually like having some respect for fucking drivers, like giving them things that really fucking matter in the end of the day. Like, how about this? Like, there's some really simple, stop taxing truck drivers, right? Like, it's a really simple trucking employee. Employers across the U.S. are taking steps to make trucking jobs better and develop innovative workforce programs. They're putting in automatic trucks, right? They're putting in trucks that don't have a clutch and a stick so that fucking they can bring in like fucking motherfuckers who don't know what they're doing, right? And to trucking jobs better to develop innovative workforce programs to recruit, train, and retrain drivers, especially from underrepresented communities like women. Yeah, they just want to drop the pay. Like, you don't want to pay for your fucking shit. That's the problem. You've printed the dollar into oblivion, right, over the past 50 fucking years. And now you don't want to pay the fucking price for it. That's the reality. The formerly incarcerated and service-disabled veterans. But the scale of challenge means we need actions to scale up these strategies. All right, so, like, you want to put convicts on the road, which I don't have a problem with. Like, that's fucking perfectly fine with me. I'm 100% all right with, like you standing here going, oh, we don't want to fucking sit here and, have like, that's what I'm looking for here. Like, we don't want to sit here and, like, we want to sit here and have, like, fucking criminals. They serve your time and you do what you do and then you get out, right? And you're free. Like, that shouldn't count against you for jobs, ever. Like, 100%, like, ever. Unless you're a pedophile going for a daycare job. Like, there's no reason anybody should ever be fucking criminal background checking you when you already served your fucking time. You know what I mean? You did what you're supposed to do, and we have a legal system for a fucking reason. Like, it is what it is. The bipartisan infrastructure creates a pathway to address these challenges in the long term. Today, the Biden-Harris administration is announcing a set of concrete actions to address the expansion of trucking. These actions will support an ongoing economic recovery and lay the foundation for a next-generation trucking workforce that will strengthen U.S. competitiveness and support millions of good jobs for years to come. Today, the Department of Transportation and Labor are launching an effort to support and expand access to quality driving jobs, and in the years ahead, the department are accelerating the expansion of registered apprenticeship programs for drivers that put more skilled, safe drivers on the road, taking immediate steps to address the pandemic-driven delays in getting a commercial driver's license, curbing the proliferation of low-quality training that increases the supplies of less qualified drivers who end up in debt or being exploited, and expanding more seamless paths for veterans and underrepresented communities such as women to access good driving jobs. Like, seriously. Like, yo, the answer isn't women. The answer is never women. When you have a social problem, all right, legitimately, the answer is never women. Like, the answer is never, we need more women. That's never an answer, all right? That's not the fucking solution. Right? Like, legitimately. Today, the Biden administration is announcing take steps to reduce barriers to drivers getting a CDL, DOT, the whatever, right? Are supporting state departments' motor vehicles as they return to even exceed pre-pandemic commercial driver's licenses issuance rates, which has helped bring back more truck drivers in the field. FMCSA will provide over $30 million in funding to help states expedite CDLs. Today, FMCSA is sending all 50 states a toolkit detailing the specific actions they can do to expedite licenses and will work hand in hand with states. Stop allowing them to fucking drug test motherfuckers for marijuana. Want to solve some of this? Like, legit, that's 1 million drivers back on the road tomorrow. Like, it's that simple. It's that basic of a fucking thing. And you're talking about problems in California and New York, right? California and New York are the places where you're having this issue. Stop drug testing fucking drivers for marijuana, and this will go the fuck away tomorrow. Legit. Because imagine if you could make the same money at a warehouse driving fucking forklift or driving a jockey wagon, you know what I'm saying, or whatever it is. Jockey wagons are like a little they're like the things that are in like inside of like a yard where a warehouse is, and like they're like little, and like they're like little, I'm trying to think about how to put it. Like they're like little fucking triangular fucking looking things. And like basically they hook up the trailers and they pull them out and then they go places, but they don't go on the road. They're just for inside of the fucking like parking lot to move trailers around. Right. But like, those jobs literally pay more than a lot of trucking companies pay you. I had companies, like real shit, offer me $17 an hour to drive into New Jersey and New York. Recently. That should not be a thing. Right? I told them to fuck themselves. Like 100%. To eat a dick. I'm not driving for $17 an hour. But people are taking these jobs. They're immigrants, right? Who live in like places like New Jersey and New York, right? And like, no. Okay, no one should be taking these fucking jobs. They should pay more, right? And they go, well, we got to be competitive. With who? This is America. Stop letting companies take fucking you have companies like Swift, right? And CR England and CRSD, right? Who literally will take a job for less than it costs to fucking do it just to keep that business out of other people's hands and then write it off at the end of the year. And then they live off their stock price. It's not like a viable system. These are things you should address the company side, right? Address what you're doing with your bullshit fucking clearinghouse, right? Address the parking problem. These are things that you can address, right? Legitimately, these are things that you can address tomorrow. If you're just willing to go, you know what, fuckface, you're going to have to pay more. And you're not going to be able to build that stock price up. And we don't fucking care. How about you give your drivers some stock? It's this simple. Why is this fucking difficult to understand? I have a fucking GED and I get this shit. This is not hard. Y'all look, man. This is getting to be long. I'm going to holler at y'all motherfuckers later. This is the dumbest shit ever. Yo, peace be like one motherfuckers. Enjoy y'all day. Later.